Welcome to Are We Gonna Talk About It with Ty
and Taryn. It is a space where we have candid conversations surrounding
faith, marriage,
family, and ministry.
Here we go. Let's talk.
Hey, that got a whole nother meaning. Talk.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there?
Oh my gosh. Welcome back to another episode of Are We Gonna Talk About It with Ty
and Taryn.
And this episode means
Thank you,
everything
Jesus.
to
I'm already
us.
rejoicing.
And I said it before we started recording. If I could just get through this without being emotional and about crying, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we're gonna get it out though.
Do what needs to be done.
We're gonna get it out though. Today we are talking through the stroke story. Yep. And combing through all the details of what that looked like from my perspective, from Taryn's perspective, and just gonna walk through it.
We're gonna walk through it.
But before we get into that, listen, if you're new here, we'd love for you to subscribe. And if you're part of our family already, go ahead and comment, share with somebody you know that may benefit from this or somebody that may encourage. As I've seen, the more and more that we've shared this story, the more and more I found people sending it to their families and saying, hey, you know, I got family that have experienced a stroke. I got family that are recovering, or I have family that's in the hospital. I've even asked people to ask me to pray, you know, with them, total strangers, right? And so share this with somebody who you know might encourage them.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna walk through it today.
Yeah, we're going to walk through it. So, of course, in 2025, Ty having a stroke was definitely not on our bingo card this year. Definitely something that happened that was unexpected. Yeah. But on the other side of it, even while we were in it, we were seeing God in it. And that's what we want to walk through as well today. But it's just crazy how life is truly fragile, you know. Yeah. Life is so fragile where you're just going about your day and then all of a sudden something happens.
Life happens.
We heard a story yesterday of something just, you know, some person going about their day and then just immediately something happening.
Life
Thankfully, they're okay, but life can be interrupted. And so even if you aren't, you know, dealing with someone or you've had a stroke, you know, hopefully you will get out of it as well is that, you know, life is fragile and some nuggets that could even better help you appreciate just life and time and even the goodness of the Lord, even in the midst of what may seem as a chaotic situation.
Right. And then I think where we want to finish off is just helping people out with what are some signs of stroke, just so you can know. But then taking the opportunity to pray with everybody, you know, watching for people who have experience or have loved ones and all of those sorts of things, just to have, you know, to get your hope back. Right.
Yes.
So we're gonna comb through all of it. I think before we kick it off, something that you just said, just as far as like we didn't have it on our bingo card, and I think one of the reasons we say that, or even you mentioned that, is because up to this point, I've had what many would consider a perfect bill of health. Yeah, like there've been no underlying conditions. In pretty good shape.
You can go to the doctor's office and you look at the check-in sheet,
checklist, and it's just like no.
And every time we talk about that after we leave, like an appointment, we're like, man, God,
we're grateful.
Thank you. Yeah,
thank you that
Lord.
we don't have to check any of those boxes. And so this was one of those things that just blew our mind. It was just like,
wow, that changes a whole lot.
It does. Yeah. So you ready to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk.
Let's get into it.
All right. Why don't you start us off? Because I think, of course, this was how we got here.
Yeah. You know? So where it started was I signed up to play for a staff student basketball game at the school that we host our worship services. And so, which I should have known.
What? You did not know.
I should have. No, not about the stroke. But I should have known. I shouldn't have been out there in the first place. Terrence was like, bro, you about to go play basketball? And I was just like, yeah, I still got it.
But you also said that you were going to, you know, not overdo it. You were gonna,
absolutely.
You know, be, you know, not trying to like dunk on people and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
So the game starts and I got to say this too. I noticed that because we're kind of beating up on the kids a little bit, right? The game is getting out of hand. And so they're letting the kids foul us a little bit harder than what they should. They're not calling the calls. And so I'd already hit the floor probably about 2 or 3 times.
Oh, no, you didn't tell me that part.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's new news.
Hey, new, y'all getting the uncut.
Well, hot off the press.
Y'all getting all of it.
Well, tell us.
I'd already hit the floor a couple times with no calls. So at that point, I was just like, hey, I'm not playing hard this game. I'm not about to risk anything out here just on this game, especially with they're not calling anything. But fortunately, the injury did. Well, I said the injury, but so what happened is I went up for a rebound. I went to take off, and when I went to take off, one of the kids fell on the back of my leg, which popped my Achilles tendon. And the Achilles tendon is essentially the rubber band muscle, the strongest tissue, or at least stretch tissue in your body. It popped. It completely ruptured. And at that point, anybody who's experienced that, who's watching, maybe you understand. When I got up to stand up, there's no muscle there to hold it together, but it also doesn't hurt. There was no pain. So I felt like, oh, maybe I just twisted my ankle, but I don't feel the swell yet. And so I went to walk, and I couldn't put any pressure on, and I almost fell forward because I didn't have anything to support. Like, I got no toes, I got no calf, you know what I mean? And so they walked me to the side, and I don't think anybody knows that it's a torn Achilles, but everybody's just like, hey, walk it off. I hope you feel better. And so I didn't go back into the game. I couldn't stand on it. I couldn't walk, but it didn't hurt. Yeah. And so a couple people helped wrap me up. Shouts out to sorry, our dog is in the background. He's free today. He trying to get in on the story. Shouts out to Sharita. She just happened to our friend Sharita. She just happened to be there. Well, not happened to be there. She's one of the teachers at this school, and so she was able to help. We got some bandages. They were able to wrap me up, and so that allowed me to walk, at least leaning on people enough. To try to get to my car after the game was over. I don't think anybody knew that I had torn my Achilles, but I knew it was serious. Right. But I also didn't want to alert anybody else around me to panic. So I was just like, hey, I'm good. Hey, I'm gonna be all right. Yeah. So walking out to the car, and Sharita saying, hey, you need to go to patients first ASAP. She couldn't leave the school, so she couldn't go with me at the time. But she said, and to hold me accountable, which I appreciate. In the moment, I was like, hey, I'm good. But to hold me accountable, she called her husband. She called Melvin, and she said, hey, Ty just hurt his leg.
Started making calls.
I'm telling him to go to patient first. Yes. I need you to call him. And I don't know exactly how that conversation went, but he did end up reaching out. Yeah. But she alerted him to make him aware. I don't know who reached out to our doctor friend Tayshawn.
Melvin probably did.
Probably so.
Or Sharita.
Yeah.
Or Sharita. Because I think I remember her when she called me. She told me that she had talked to him too. Yeah. So he ended up calling you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He did too.
He's a physical therapist.
Yeah, physical therapist. And so and if you're watching, we're like, hey, we're 10 minutes into this episode, and y'all ain't said nothing about a stroke. This plays a very important role in it. Yeah. And so I'll say this also. So as we're getting out to the car, she's saying, hey, you need to go to patient first. You need to go to patient first. I'm like, I settled it. I said, okay, I'm going to go. And so I go to drive myself. Again, anybody who's ever torn their Achilles, you got nothing.
And this was foot. On
my right foot. On the driving foot too. And so I had nothing, but I'm like, hey, I'm gonna thug it out. I'm gonna just do it. It wasn't a good idea, by the way, but I did it. As I'm getting into the car, I remember saying this, and I think I shared this with you. I remember saying out loud, God, this doesn't make sense. And literally, I'm talking out loud. I'm praying to God. I'm talking out loud. And I said, I don't get hurt like this. I don't have serious. Now I've broken bones. I've sprained my ankle. You know what I mean? I've had injuries like that, but nothing this serious that takes this long to recover. And so I also remember saying, hey, even though this doesn't make sense, I trust you. Yeah. I don't know what will come of this, but I know that somehow you'll make this make sense. I remember having that prayer in my car before I went to patient first, right?
Okay. So you're still in the part where you went to patient first.
Yes.
Okay. I got
so
you. Gotcha.
So I text Taryn. And I said, and actually I texted you before I left out the gymnasium.
You called me.
And I said, hey, I don't remember what I said. It was something like, hey, don't freak out.
Yeah.
But I think I tore my Achilles or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And she didn't freak out. Thank God she didn't, because those are moments that I did not want to tell you, but also felt like if she freaks out, this may also shape how much more I want to share or the next thing.
I mean, you weren't gonna be able to hide it, sir.
No, but still, but your response still shapes how the next thing will be shared.
I get that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so she didn't freak out. She said, "Hey, you definitely need to go to patient first."
Yeah. But then I think Tayshawn had called.
Not yet.
Okay.
So I go to patient first, and they're closed.
That's right.
This particular one is closed. It's a Friday. It's a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Right? I don't remember what time it was. It was somewhere around like 3 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock maybe. And so I'll go there. They're closed. I pull up a second one. They are closed. I'm about to go to a third one, which is on the other side, the opposite side of town. I'm on south. I'm trying to go up north to a third one. And as I'm on the way, Tayshawn, physical therapist friend, calls. He says, "Hey, you know you should have called me first, right?" And I couldn't even argue it. I was just like, "Yeah, nah, you're absolutely right." And Tayshawn gives me advice. I don't want to skip forward too much. Tayshawn gives me advice that potentially saved my entire life.
For sure.
Right? And in the moment, I didn't realize it. But Tayshawn says, "Hey, no, don't go there." He says, "Hey, if you go there, then this is going to be the process. They're going to check it out. They don't have x-ray machines there, so they're going to send you somewhere else. At the second place, then they're going to take the x-rays. And then after you go there, then they're going to have to set up another appointment for you to come. So it may not be a whole nother week before you're able to get in for actual surgery." Right? And so he says, "Hey, there's a shorter process. Go here." He directed me to a specific ortho place. I was able to go. They got me in almost immediately, probably within an hour or so, hour and a half. Got in, was able to get the x-rays, got me in a boot, got me in crutches, and was able to head home from there. Anything I missed up to this point?
No,
or anything you want to highlight?
No. I think that's where we were, because by then I was there with you at the ortho place.
Yeah.
I met him there once. Tayshawn told us to go there, and everything happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And my wife, she had me on video, and she got me on FaceTime with some of our family and stuff. And look at this boy. Look what this boy.
I mean, because at that point we just were,
at that point it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Even me, I'm just like,
funny.
I was laughing at myself at that point. It was just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, especially because this year was the year he turned 40, and he had just turned 40 in May, and this happened in June. June.
Not to side note, literally the morning of my birthday. I don't know if you remember this. The morning of my birthday that I turned 40 years old, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and threw up. And then went back to sleep, and then woke up again a few minutes later and threw up.
We were on vacation, and so I don't know if it had anything to do with that.
Yeah, I think it just hit 40. 40 hit different.
40 hit different.
And my body was aching for the rest of that day. But I mean, I was good. Like, I got up later, like nothing was wrong, and just my body was aching, but I was still eating normal and everything. And then, this happens. Just
so of course
a month
the jokes
later.
We were joking on him about
that.
Yeah,
so you're getting old.
Yeah, let's drive forward. So go home.
Got the crutches. Get home. And
we were supposed to have a date night.
That's a whole nother situation, baby.
Yeah,
we were supposed to have a date night. This was going to be our first date night
in a while, but
I want to say since January, February.
Probably.
Yeah, it had been.
We had a lot happening, moving, all the things.
Church transition, house transition.
And now we're in June.
Things.
Kids just got out of school for summer break.
Yeah. So I told her, I said, "Hey, it's been a long time, but we're gonna get back into our rhythm." I'd already planned our date night for that Friday night.
Yep.
So you can imagine her frustration, feeling like, bruh. Seriously?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of beyond my control. So I'm trying to push it. I'm trying to force it and make it happen. She's just like, "Nah, you're not in any condition." I think she was just really embarrassed to go out with with me with my crutches and my boot on. She's like, this is new.
No,
this
you just needed to
me.
take it slow. It just happened that day. So what we did instead, I think somebody still were able to get the kids for us. And we just sat on the sofa and we played Scrabble.
We did.
We played Scrabble, and we
did.
just
We're not
we just
gonna say
chilled.
who won, but we did that day.
But yeah, so we did that, and then
I lost, by the way.
I think after that you had an appointment scheduled for Monday to go see the actual.
I had an appointment scheduled for Monday. The very next day, Tyler had a soccer game.
Yeah.
So that was tough, trying to navigate the crutches and get out there.
Yeah.
Sunday, we had church. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, and you did.
I still went to church.
You still went to church.
And I think I still ministered that Sunday.
I believe
from
so.
a seat. I sat down.
Yes.
I sat down. I still ministered, and for me, it was just like, hey, if we're gonna be true disciples, we got to thug it out. Now, granted, there's a thing called wisdom.
I was about to say,
yes,
can't dismiss.
There is a thing called wisdom.
Moments where you need to rest.
I could also appreciate that we were in a position where we did have support in ministry and people we could lean on, people, and definitely people, even if they needed to travel, that could come in town and say, "Hey, bro, just sit." But I will say, for me, if like I personally felt like I felt a personal challenge to say, like, God, you're worth this. You deserve this, and almost felt like people need to see you push through this almost as an example of like, hey, life happens, but we still show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not to the extent that you're draining yourself or hurting yourself or bringing harm to yourself.
Yeah.
But for that moment, I did feel oppressed in me that was just like, man, I need to show up. And so Monday.
So Monday
had the appointment. And a lot of things are timing with this whole stroke story, because Monday, again, going to the place that Tayshawn recommended, they got me an earlier appointment for Monday. As a result of that earlier appointment, they said, hey, we can actually get you in the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
We can get you in on Wednesday this week. So boom.
For surgery.
For surgery.
Because they asked him, they gave him the option of, do you want to just let the Achilles repair on its own with like physical therapy, or do you want to go ahead and get surgery done? And so you opted for surgery.
And one thing I'll mention too, because many people have asked me this on social media about the option, and many people have said that they never knew that there was an option. And that also Tayshawn shared with me. He said, hey, when you go in there, they're going to try to make it sound like surgery is the only option.
Right.
And he said, I want you to recommend or you to bring up, hey, give me all of my options and what does a non-surgical option look like. And that's when they begin to show me, hey, you don't have to, but you know, this is what we would probably recommend. And so we set up the surgery date. They said you're going to come in 48 hours on Wednesday. And so what I also mentioned is that very next day, I don't know if you remember, on Tuesday, I had already scheduled to be the commencement speaker for the 8th graders, the same 8th graders that I played basketball against that previous week.
Yes.
Which, man, I feel like was a God wink, kind of a full circle moment, because I was able to walk in. They saw me in the boot and crutches. Many of them were there when it happened.
Yeah.
But I was able to use that as kind of leverage. I think the subject that I spoke of in commencement was 5 things I learned from being on crutches or something like that. And so they were amused by it, because they're just like, bruh, I saw you before you got hurt. I was there when you got hurt. And now you're encouraging us with something in real time.
Yeah.
So still showed up for that as well. I felt that I committed to it. They were with me when it happened. I feel like I'm the most, I don't know how to say it. I felt like I was the most prepared person to speak to them in that moment, or I was the most fitting person to speak to them in that moment, and showed up for that. Now we get into the actual story. That was background, because it's all
tied
relevant
together. Yeah. So Wednesday morning. Your appointment, you had to be there about 12.
1.
Well, the surgery was scheduled for 1, but you had to be there like early for, sign and all of that.
Right.
Prior to that, earlier in that day, Tyler had a dental appointment.
Yes, he did.
We took him to his dental appointment. You actually were the one sitting inside with him. It's all on Wednesday.
Yep.
And then after that, we dropped the kids off at one of our family members' homes, so that we can go and take Ty over to the surgical center to prepare for surgery on his Achilles.
Yep.
So we get there.
We get home. Back home.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. You do. Have to tell that part.
We get back home from dropping the kids off, and so it's just me and Taryn at home, and I am downstairs. We have 3 levels. I'm downstairs in my office. Taryn's all the way up top, and I get a call from my doctor who says, or the surgeon who says, hey, we had a earlier spot open up. Can you come an hour earlier? And so I said, oh, yeah, absolutely, no thought. So I let Taryn know. I said, hey, are we able to alter our schedules a little bit? Can we go an hour earlier? She said, yeah. Sure, that's perfectly fine. And again, all the details that we're sharing are very relevant, even down to 3 floors and me being all the way downstairs because the timing even of everything and when the stroke happened. So we go to the hospital. You can jump in whatever you want to jump in. Center. Yeah, we go right. You gotta be specific. Yeah. So we go to ortho surgical center, and so once we get there, we sign all the papers, do all the normal things, and then we go in the waiting area and waiting for them to call us back so I can put on my what's it called?
Your gown. Your surgery gown.
Yeah, put on my gown so I can be sedated and go into surgery.
Yes.
So they call our names. We go back. And while we're sitting in the room, then I start to change my clothes. Do you want to share this perspective?
Yes, I think you probably got a better perspective. So we're in the room. They gave him his robe, so he started to get changed. He, was able to take his shoes, his pants off, and then he goes to start trying to take his shirt off. But even before that, you started kind of like just trying to clear your throat. And I took notice of that, but I'm like, okay, well, you need some water. Yeah. I know you had to fast, of course, from, of course you could still drink water during the fasting, but it was like, I noticed that you kept just like clearing your throat, like, like you were struggling there, but you were still moving, trying to get your clothes off. And then it wasn't until you got ready to take your shirt off and your arms were above your head, but then your hands were, why are you laughing? See, laugh at your pain.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm laughing because
in my mind I thought you were playing. I really did.
And I'm asking for those of y'all who don't know, I'm asking Taryn to share her perspective, not because I don't remember. I think her perspective is just very unique. Yeah. Just the worry of like what's going on.
Yeah.
But I'm laughing because I was fully aware of what in that moment. I didn't know what was going on. I just didn't have any control.
Yeah.
And so when I got stuck in my shirt, I'm kind of laughing in my head like, Taryn about to clown me right now.
And the only reason is because it was a while back. I think he was trying to. Oh my God. he was driving one time and he got really hot and he tried to take his hoodie off and he got stuck in the hoodie. He got stuck in the hoodie while driving, so I had to help him. So when I saw him trying to get the shirt off, it actually made me think about that moment. And that's why I kind of started laughing. But then I was like, okay, this is becoming serious now because it's his hands were kind of like stuck straight in the air. And it was like he started to just get out of it. So I helped him. I think I helped you get out your shirt. Mm-hmm. I helped him take the shirt off, but then that's when...
my shirt was off.
That's when he started to, like, he was not speaking, like, English words anymore. It was, like, just kind of just random things that were being said.
It was like babble.
It was babble. It was like...
what they explained, they said unintelligible words.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's how they explained it.
And so, words. Yeah.
So, at least from my perspective, again, I'm fully aware of my surroundings. Mm-hmm. But at the same, and while I'm talking, like Terrence asking me questions.
Mm-hmm. And it's words coming out, but they don't make a sentence. They're just random.
And this is, and I'll spend, maybe we can come back to this, like what a stroke actually feels like. Mm-hmm. But part of that feeling is like, it's like your brain is disconnected from the rest of your body. Mm-hmm. Your brain is signals telling it to do stuff, say stuff. Mm-hmm. And your body is just not responding. Uh-huh. And it almost feels like you're trapped inside your own body. Like, you're fully aware of everything. You can hear everything, but at the same time, you have no control over anything.
Yeah.
So while I'm talking, I'm answering all of Taryn's questions.
And you started rubbing the side of this side of your head as well.
You're right, because that's. We'll come back to some of the signs, but that was a sign. It felt like a migraine. Mm-hmm. But it was just like, it was very quick. Mm-hmm. It didn't like slowly come. It was just like out of nowhere. It's just this migraine, and so I started to rub my head because I felt it come on, but at almost instantly, right when it came on, that's when everything started changing. Mm-hmm. And so I'm talking in my head. It's almost like when you're not talking out loud, but you're just thinking thoughts in your head, like you can hear what you're saying in your head.
Yeah.
but out of my mouth, something is coming out different. And so I'm confused also because I'm like, why doesn't she understand what I'm saying? Why does she keep asking me?
And you were kind of like laughing at it. Like you were like, no, like, no, you're not getting it. And I'm just like, I don't know what you saying.
It was silly to me because I'm thinking, why isn't she understanding? But then I'm also laughing because like, it's almost like a nervous laughter. Like, this is crazy. Like, why am I not able to piece together a sentence? Like what? Like what's going on? But not once did I ever panic. It was just, this is, and I was
like,
weird.
Ty, like, stop playing. Like at first I was like, stop playing. Are you playing right now? Like, are you playing? You know, but then I noticed he had like the little, I guess the whatever things that they stick on your body when you prepare for surgery. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I'm like, well, did they already give him some medication in those pads or things? And so that's when, after that, I was just like, okay, let me go get somebody because I don't know what's happening right now. This is kind of weird. And so I reached for the nurse who was helping us, and I was like, hey, did you already give him some medication or something?
I remember you saying that
or
too.
Something like that. And she was like, no, he hasn't had anything yet. And I was like, well, something's going on with him. Like, he's not talking normal. So she came in, and then that's when she was asking him questions about, tell us your name, tell us where you're from.
And I think that's when she got a little really concerned because again, I'm saying my name. In my head, I'm hearing myself say my name. But apparently what's coming out, I'm looking at everybody else's facial expressions and I'm just like, why did they look so concerned? Like, why did they look so afraid? Every time I talk, it's almost like they got more concerned.
Yeah. And then she went and called some other nurses in to also kind of just see what was going on. And then I think that's when they were like, okay, we need to get him out. We need to take him out and call the ambulance. And so I guess they called the ambulance and then they moved you out that room. Mm-hmm. You were still in the bed, but they rolled you out just so they can prepare for when the ambulance arrived.
And I'm fully aware. So I think that's when I started to think something's not right because there's about, correct me if I'm wrong, there's about 6 doctors, maybe
six
nurses around me, and all of them kind of asking me questions and trying to figure out what's going on. And all
then it was panicking. A doctor that came while we were waiting on the ambulance to arrive, the EMTs. He came over and he started trying to ask you questions and things like that. And I think the EMTs arrived at that time and they started trying to ask you questions, but the doctor is like, look, y'all need to take him right now. Yeah. And so that's when they began to like rush him over, and because they were saying it was a hospital that was maybe like a few minutes down the street. Thankfully, like 3 or 4 minutes down the street. So they gave me that. Center. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a hospital, but you were going to the neurological unit.
Right. Okay.
But so they gave me the address, and so I get in the car, and meanwhile I'm texting our friends, I'm texting our family, I'm just everybody who needed to know in that moment, like, hey guys, because they were the ones praying even for the Achilles surgery. So they of course wanted us to make sure that we kept them updated with things. So when I text them, I'm like, hey guys, y'all pray, something's going on with Ty. And
because you didn't know
I didn't know at the time, but I was like, they're taking him over to the emergency room.
And I think you may have explained like he's not talking.
Or did
you explain it at that point?
I think once I got to the emergency room, I think that's when I did talk to, I know your dad, he called, so I was able to explain kind of just up to that point what was happening. But then everybody else for, just our groups and stuff, just letting them know these are some of the things that's happening, but I don't know all the details yet. So I'm headed to the emergency room, and, I wait to see what's going on. But I was a little nervous because you went to I would let you share just even your part about being in the ambulance if you want to, because I wasn't with you. I had to drive over from to get to the hospital. Yeah.
So and I'll keep saying it just because I've had so many people ask, what does a stroke feel like? So that's why I keep going back to like the feeling or the thought that I'm feeling. I think I'll kind of explain it throughout. As opposed to just one setting, but as I'm riding in there, I'm fully cognizant of everything going on around me. So like, the doctors, they're still asking questions, but apparently I'm not answering correctly. They're taking my blood pressure. Yeah, EMTs, I'm sorry. And they're taking my blood pressure and everything. And I remember there's I think 2 of them inside with me. I remember thinking like, bro, this is kind of crazy. Like I'm riding in the ambulance. Like this is new. This is new to me. And the back window I could see out. And I specifically remember being at a red light And I don't know if it was traffic or that the red light was just really long.
But they didn't have their emergencies on.
No, they didn't.
Which is crazy.
They did not.
Crazy.
They did not. We were at a red light for a long time. And I remember looking out the back window, and I'm seeing, it was like a pickup truck that pulled up, and there's a guy, and he's just sitting, he's just chilling, and there's tons of cars behind him as well. And I just remember thinking, like, first of all, why are we not moving? Why are we not going anywhere? Bless you.
Thank you. Y'all been sneezing a whole lot, so pardon me.
I just remember thinking, like, why are we not moving? Why are we not going anywhere? And even part of me thinking, why is it taking so long to get there?
Yeah.
But I knew that I was in the ambulance. I knew that I was headed to a hospital at that moment.
Yeah. So as you were headed there, I'm sitting I got there, of course, before you. I'm sitting in the emergency waiting room. I go up to first when I got there, I went up to the desk. I'm like, hey, my husband is being transported here. They told me to let you know once I get here. And the lady is just like, so like nonchalant. And I'm sure she has to be that way because it's an emergency room. Yeah. She's like working at the desk. And so she's probably seen it all. Right. So I was just like, yeah, my husband, she's like, well, she made a call and she was like, he's not here yet. They haven't arrived yet. So you can just wait.
How I get here before the ambulance?
Right. How I beat the ambulance, and they got the lights and the authority to go. But she was like, well, you just wait, and I'll call you up once they get here. And so I'm just sitting and I'm waiting and I'm looking around like, man, which is crazy because I think at that point I truly recognized God's peace over me. Even while we were standing there waiting for them to come pick you up, it was like I was not in no type of panic. It was like a covering. Like I can't even really explain it, but it was just like a covering. Once everything started happening, I truly felt God's peace in that moment because I had every right. To panic, to freak out, but it was like, I've just felt just so calm and so peaceful. And so I think I even remember once I got to the hospital and I was in the parking lot and I kind of said a prayer too, like, okay, Lord, I'm not understanding what's happening here, but I trust you. And that was, it seemed like it would have been hard to say, but in that moment, it's just, I think I was like, I ain't got nothing else but to trust you, you know, like with this, Lord. But I also really feel like in that moment after I prayed and I checked in with the Lord, it was like, he's going to be okay. Yeah. And I think I took that, even though you kind of like, okay, did I just make that up? Yeah. Or was that really the Lord talking to me? But I felt like a sense of peace that came from it. And so I get to the emergency room. I had to sit and wait. And it felt like it was forever. Yeah. And so I had to go up to the desk and ask her again, like, hey, is my husband here yet? Go ahead, pause.
I want to pause there, at least stick a pin there, because I think it's significant what you said about trusting God. And even what I mentioned before I went to, get checked out. Because I think a lot of people, like, it's easy to trust God when it's like, hey, we've gotten the report. Yeah. Hey, it looks like you're doing well. Oh, man, God to trust. But, like, are you able to trust God like when it still does not make sense? Because that's the vast majority of people. It's just like, this don't make sense. How did this happen? Why did this happen? And all the questions. But in those moments, like, to me, that is a telltale sign of your spiritual maturity. Yeah. That is a telltale sign of your true relationship with God. Not just how you respond when things are going very well, but when things are the very worst. How do you respond in those moments?
You have no answers in sight.
Because that is you. Yeah. That is telling of who you truly are. And not to say that we're so good.
But I think we've been through every season of our life. That's one thing that I think we've been intentional about. And by the grace of God, of course, by the grace of God, to say, God, I don't know what's happening here, but I trust you. I don't know how this job situation going to play out, but I trust you. I don't know where this money is going to come from, but I trust you. Yeah. After I balance these books and I feel like we still in the red, I'm going to trust you. Yeah. And we've been making that a practice. Like we've had to put that into practice in our life. And the more that I feel like we do it, the more that we know God and his character and his faithfulness and his goodness, even in the midst of just some crazy stuff. Yeah. Like, and so this was no different for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, that's really good. I think that's a needful thing. Yeah. And so once you got there, you're in the waiting room. Obviously, once we got there, then they're taking me back for surgery.
A CT scan.
CT scan.
And that's what the lady, once I got there, the lady was like, oh yeah, they're here now. They're taking him back for a CT scan, and they're going to I'll call you back once they get him into the, I guess some other room after the scan.
So did they get back to you before they took me back for surgery? No, they did not.
Oh yeah.
They did.
Oh yeah.
So what was the next thing that you got?
So the next thing after you got there, they immediately took you to go get a CT scan.
Were you with me in the room with the scans?
No, I wasn't there with you.
All right, so let me tell that part first.
Now, which scan? Before the surgery or after the surgery?
Before surgery.
Okay, yeah, that's
before surgery. So they went and did once. So they did 2 scans before. Okay.
All right. No. 1 scan before. Then they brought you in that room with the screen with the doctor. He explained what was happening, and then they said surgery. Yeah. After surgery, another CT scan.
So I did have a scan. And I'm sorry, we're talking this through.
Yeah. We're in December now, so it's 6 months later.
Right. This is a refresher for us too, but it's amazing. I went in for the scan, and again, I'm seeing everything going on around me, but still not fully. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so they put me in the machine for the scan, and while I'm in there, I'm starting to feel really claustrophobic, which I used to be very, very claustrophobic, and now maybe it's just, minimally, but I still feel it sometimes. And so like I'm in there, I'm starting to feel claustrophobic, and I'm kind of moving around a little bit, and they're like, sir, you got to be still. And sir, you got to be still. And I said, hey, I'm claustrophobic. And they're like, sir, I know, but you got to be still. So I'm moving around so much that they take me out. And then they strap down my hands and they strap down my head, which you can imagine if you are already claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And then they strap you down and you can't move and then put you back in. Like, you can imagine the panic. And it wasn't panic like, I'm afraid because I don't know what's going on. It was panic like, I don't want to be in here.
Yeah.
Like, just take me out.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine, again, being aware of what's going on, not able to control. I'm also not able to communicate with them because I can't speak any clear words.
Yeah.
I'm just
moving.
I'm just moving. And so, and Grant, now that I think about it, I told them I was claustrophobic. I wonder if I actually said it.
You probably did not.
I don't know. I probably did not.
You probably said something else.
Did not.
Yeah.
Because they put me back in. Once I came out the second time, I do remember this part. As they're bringing me out the second time, I'm starting to get movement in my hands. And so
Wait, what second time?
Huh?
What second time?
No, well, I'm saying it was the same scan. They brought me out, they strapped me down, then they put me back in. So this is still the first scan.
Okay.
This is still the first scan. After I come out, I said, hey, I can move. Like I got movement, and I'm lifting up my hand, and before I couldn't move it. I'm moving my hand and I'm talking clearly to them, and they just said, okay. And then I think that's when they took me into the other room with you.
Yeah.
By that time, I don't know if you remember, doctor comes on the screen.
I remember.
He's asking me the test, and he's asking me like, what year is it? What's my name? And can I move? And everything is fine, and I'm moving.
No, not yet.
You don't remember that?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, go ahead.
Let me jump in on this part, because one of the things that we forgot to mention, even when we were at the surgical center, is that you weren't able to lift your right hand.
I was not able to lift my right hand.
Yeah.
I could not see out of my right eye.
That was something important to know. I just thought about. So once you got in that room, the guy, he's a doctor. He comes on the screen, which I had never seen before. I was like, okay, what kind of movie situation is this? Like Matrix?
Maybe a good doctor.
It made me kind of nervous, but it was just like, all right, we're going to go with this. But it was another doctor, the neurosurgeon. She was in there as well. But he came on the screen. He was like, you are having a stroke right now. And as I'm sitting there listening to him on the screen, and I'm just like, all these people in this room, I'm just like, okay, this is wild. And so then he was like, we need to go ahead and consider some options right now. And he asked for me to come on, to like lean into the screen so he could talk to me. He was like, we can right now give him some medication that will help. It was like a blood thinner medication. He was like, we can go ahead and just give him a dosage right now, but we still need to take him to surgery because the clot is very large in his brain, or they called it a clot,
arteries,
in the arteries or whatever. He was like, we're going to give him some blood thinners right now if you approve of that, and then we'll take him back for surgery. So we're sitting there, and he was like, do you want to move forward with the medicine right now? I was like, yes, please. So they give him like a shot of something, like a dosage of something, and then after that, like, he comes back to normal. like immediately, and they were amazed in that moment. Like, wait a minute, like this medicine does not normally work this fast. But so they started asking him questions. You're answering. You're able to kind of lift your arm.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, well, we probably still need to go ahead and take him back to surgery. But then, well, before that, the medicine starts, it seems to be like clearing up some stuff immediately. And then you start lifting your arms. You started talking for a little bit, and then you relapsed.
And then while I was talking, and I felt it happen.
Yeah.
While I was talking, my words started to turn to gibberish.
Yes. Yeah.
Again. And I remember, they're asking me, to move my hand, and they're asking, can I see out the side? And I'm just like, yes, answer all the questions. And then when I relapsed, I just remember sitting there, and like I picked up my, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember.
I picked up my hand like this,
and it just kept falling. Yeah.
And at that moment, I was just like, this. I don't know what's
so
going on.
I think for them, they were like, okay, let's go. Let's get him out. Let's go now. And that's when they went to go ahead and do surgery. By then, we had a couple people arrive just to kind of sit there with me. One being Dr. Duff.
Yeah. So before we go there, she said something that she just kind of breezed through really fast.
What did I breeze through?
They shared that I had blood clots clogging up the arteries to my brain. And that I don't know if they shared it at this moment, but there were three.
Yeah, they did.
At least 3 blood clots.
They did.
Clogging up the arteries to my brain, which is what caused the stroke. And so that's when they got ready to rush us into surgery.
They had to put you down, put you to sleep.
So I'll share that part, and then we can come to you being in the waiting room.
Okay.
And so they took me in. Again, I remember coming down the hall. I remember them, bringing me into the surgical room, which felt like a movie again, because you go into, it's like all this huge room, all the big lights. There's nothing in the middle of the floor except just a bed and all the lights pointing in one area, all the surgical tools around it. And again, I'm not panicking. I'm just like, this is pretty cool. like I'm on tour or something. Like they're giving me a tour of the
You're
surgical
the patient, sir.
Right. But I was just like, man, this is pretty. And I can only attribute all of that to the peace of God.
Peace of God.
Because there is no way that you could tell me, hey,
no way.
You're gonna feel like you're trapped in your own body. You cannot speak. You cannot move. You're gonna be fully aware of everything that's going on around you, but you're gonna be calm.
Yeah. Like,
Bruh,
what?
That don't make sense to me.
Nope.
So like I'm in the room and I'm just like, man, this is pretty cool. And then they have to move me over to the bed. I'm trying to help them get me on the bed, Taryn. And so like, they're lifting me up, and I'm like using my other arm, like trying to, help them get on the bed. And they're telling me, hey, go ahead and lay down. And they're explaining to me, hey, we're going to give you some of this gas. This will put you out or whatever. And so I've been under before. So in my head, I remember this. I laughed about this. I told Taylor, I said, hey, when they put the gas on me, I counted to see how high I can get it. Like, that's how peaceful my mind was. It wasn't like I'm freaking out like, oh my God, I don't know what's about to happen. I don't know if I'm gonna never wake up. It was like, I'm gonna see how high I can get, with this gas. And as they give me the gas, I know that I'm about to go to sleep. But at the same time, this was my very last thought. By the way, I was counting. I think I got up to 20.
Man, you've been down a few times. Yeah. So are you sure that's the same time?
I don't know. But I remember one of my last thoughts before I went down was today has been a long day. I am exhausted. I'm actually ready for a nap.
Oh my.
That was one of my last thoughts. Was just like, I'm kind of ready to take a nap. Like that's how peaceful. That's how peaceful. I've heard people explain like, people who transition and just how peaceful that phase is. And I don't want to compare that to that directly, but I can imagine, because in that moment, like I could have never woke up.
Right.
But I also, in my last few seconds, I was just like, man, this feels great.
Yeah. Like you could have been thinking like, am I going to wake up? Like, am I going to, come back after they finish this?
I was ready to rest.
You were ready to rest.
I was ready to rest. And so,
you only rested for
my God, a few moments. So let's take a ball and let's pause there and go back to now you're in the waiting room, because this is the perspective I think that a lot of people have asked as well. Just like, man, he's back there. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if he's going to be okay. You don't know what the effects will be. You don't know the husband that you're coming back to if he survives the surgery. What are you feeling? What's going on? What's happening while you're in the waiting room?
Oh man. So as I'm sitting there, at first it was just me because I think one of our friends, she hadn't come back there yet. And, Tayshawn hadn't arrived either, Dr. Duff.
So at the moment,
it was just me. But then there was another lady who was sitting across from me, and I guess she was waiting on somebody for surgery as well.
Yeah.
And so my heart actually started kind of like softening up to her because
That's
I'm
crazy.
like, I being in that emergency waiting room space before you even got there, and I'm looking at everybody, I'm like, people are dealing with so much. And so it was like the Lord started kind of giving me a heart of compassion.
It'll either
for
depress you
else.
or like it'll do something to you.
It was doing something to me just to be in that space and knowing that, yes, we're going through something,
Everybody
but
got something.
And I don't know if everybody trusts God the way that we trust God or have the peace of God that how we were experiencing. But for me, because I had so much peace, it helped me to like turn my heart to like all the other people who were sitting around.
We are walking through the same thing, but you walking
differently. Right. And that's what it felt like. Like I had a heart of compassion, just like, man, like looking around all these people and just start praying for other people. I'm just sitting there praying for my situation, but I'm like praying for these people. And so even as I went to it was like another waiting room once they took you back for surgery, and it was just me and a lady in there. It was so quiet, no music playing, nothing. And so she's just sitting there, and then she starts making small talk, and I'm like, I'm gonna talk to her because I don't know who she's waiting on, what she's dealing with. And so she was encouraging me, I was encouraging her, and then that's when our friends came back and they sat, and so we were just sitting there. I was explaining to them what happened, but also like letting them know, like, man, y'all just got peace about this.
Did it take a certain amount of strength, or did you feel strength? Did you feel God's grace, or did it just feel like, oh, this is just normal? Like, what did that feel like to be sitting in a room encouraging other people, but then when you have friends and family come to just be sharing with them, just like you're telling the story about how your day went?
I truly recognized God's grace in that moment, because in my mind I'm questioning like you're not freaking out, like this is wild, like you're not feeling overwhelmed or I at that point I hadn't even shed a tear. I did think about in that moment, like, God, he's in surgery right now. What's going to happen if he don't come back?
What if he doesn't wake up?
What if he doesn't wake up? And I was, I was believing that, he was going to wake up, but I also was like in my mind, like, what is that going to look like?
That's real.
But if you don't, God, but if you don't.
Man, listen.
But if you don't.
No, speak to that. We gonna take our time for this episode
because I had to sit in that.
Speak to that, because I think sometimes like our faith can be so on 10 that we feel like if I ever consider what if this doesn't work, that's
then
doubt.
My faith not working.
That's doubt, or that's wavering in my faith because I have considered what some of the other options are. Right. And I'm not saying like sitting in it just like, well, if he doesn't come back, then we got to change this and we got to do this and we got to move that. I'm not saying sitting in it, but I'm saying like, hey, God, if you don't.
So as you're laying that out, what I believe I was feeling in my heart was like, as these things were coming up, they weren't coming. It was more of a thought instead of like a worried thought. It was like a consider that, he might not, pull through, in surgery or whatever. But it was more of like, okay, well, as these things come up, I gotta have faith for all of it. And so even when those things came up, I had to cast my cares. Like I really had to play out casting my cares, not from a place of, God, you gonna keep him alive, but casting my cares, God, you are in control, you're sovereign, and whatever happens in this moment,
that's
like,
tough talking.
I just gotta know and trust you.
That's
I have to trust you in this. So it was weird because it was just like a dealing with my heart happening in that moment, a dealing with my thoughts. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna cast my cares upon the Lord. I'm gonna trust that God's gonna pull him through. But I think up to that point, and as we've shared in the previous episodes, just like we always think in our mind what it's going to look like, and God might be doing something differently. And we've had people who went home to be with the Lord that we feel like, man, God, like, why did you take them? Like, they should still be here.
Absolutely.
But even dealing with things like that is just like, God is sovereign and faithful and just in what he does. And so it's like, that would be hard. In my mind, I was like, that would be hard. And I thought about my kids, though. I thought about Taylor and Tyler and them, and just walking through something like that with them, and, you know, just thinking about if they didn't have a father, what that would look like. But it was
not to mention, and I don't know if we'll have time to come back to this, not to mention this is literally the week leading up to Father's Day.
Yeah.
This is the week before Father's Day.
So that's what I was dealing with in that moment. Then our friends came. I was talking to them about it, but I was just so calm, so peaceful. It was probably about 30 minutes. Well, the wait time was probably about an hour. And then my friends came. Our friends came maybe 30 minutes before the doctor came out. So the doctor comes out. Young guy, and he sits, and so in my mind I'm like, I don't know what he's about to tell us, but you know, he comes and he sits, and he didn't pull us in the other little private room with the door, so I'm like, well, maybe it's okay, because it was other people around. So
you still don't know what
you still don't know. Yeah. And so he sits down, he's just like, your husband's doing good, you know, he's waking up now. And so that, of course, that's a sigh of relief. He was like, but you know, I just never seen anything like it. He was like, there were 3 clots, and we have witnesses. Will there be 2? 3 witnesses. Like, and I was like, I'm so glad of the timing of Whitney and Tayshawn being there, because they were able to hear exactly what the doctor said. So I'm not just making this up on my own. They heard it themselves. And he was like, I've never seen anything like this before. He was like, I went in to go and get the clot out, and it was just dissolving right before my eyes. He was like, and then there was another one that I was going to go in to get, and it dissolved as well. And he was like, normally that don't happen.
I want to be very clear. What Taryn is saying right now is literally when they took, because we jumped back to the surgery. When they took me and put me on the bed, they were about to make an incision to remove the blood.
And they were going to go up through his thigh. It was like some little skinny device, a suction type of thing, goes through his thigh and his artery, and go right up through his brain to get the clot out. And
they were about to make the... They did make the incision.
They did. They were in there.
Yes.
They were in there.
They did make the incision. I still have the mark. I'm sorry. They did make the incision, but before they were able to remove it, it completely
dissolved. And so here's the thing. In most cases, and this is what they're saying, the blood thinners that they gave him prior to surgery don't normally work that way. They just kind of help to clear up some of the blockage, but they still have to go in to get the rest of it out. But by the time he got back there, they were about to go and suction it out, and it was already dissolved.
Yeah,
already gone.
Man, any way you look at it, because there are tons of, and again, like on social media has been going, I've heard so many stories since it has happened on social media, but many people. With very, very good intentions, but trying to explain it away. Now, granted, I'm not naive to the fact that blood thinners, you know, of what they do, right? But at the same time, for the doctors to say, we have never seen it work this fast. This is what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
We've never seen it do its job before we get into surgery.
If that was
this
the
is
case,
to aid surgery.
Exactly.
This is a supplement or goes with surgery.
Yes.
But they said we did not have to do the surgery because it did its job so quickly, and we have never seen this before.
Yeah,
that is not normal.
Nope.
What do we attribute that to?
So as soon as he said that, the 3 of us, we all looked at each other like, we know, we know who did it.
That says everything.
You might not know, sir, but we know.
Man, listen. And so they, I come to while they're taking me
for another CT scan.
The CT scan
after surgery. They had to take you back.
Ironically. That is the only part I do not remember.
Yeah, because you just woke up out of surgery. So I think as you know. Yeah, I don't know if you were still out when they were doing the CT scan or you were coming to.
I didn't wake up until after the scan as they're taking me down the hall.
And so we're standing in the hall. Me and Tayshawn were standing in the hall as they were bringing you out the CT scan room. And then that's when you saw us.
Yeah, so I woke up on the way to when they were getting me a room. I woke up and Tayshawn is either standing over me or walking up beside me on the bed. And I look at him.
Hey, what you doing here?
That's what I said. I said, what you doing here? And I think he even laughed at that because I mean, again, I'm just waking up from surgery.
Yeah.
But I think even at that notice, he even at that moment, he and even the doctors realized, like, okay, I guess he's back to normal.
He's back to normal.
So we get into the room,
and then they had to put him, of course, in ICU. He had to stay there.
Yes.
For a while, so they were able to find a room,
yep.
Or have a room.
I think I might have been in there for a day. I don't remember.
I don't know. I feel like you changed rooms a few times while we were there.
But while I'm in the room, I had probably about 3 or 4 different doctors. One of them was the actual surgeon, but first person that came in was a surgeon. And he's, he starts off with, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing great. And he's like, man, that's really good to hear. He said, you are a miracle.
He said his words, and we got it on video.
He said, you are a miracle. He said, I've never seen this before. Yeah. He said, I've never seen these, we gave you blood thinners. I've never seen them work that. He just reiterated all the things that he shared. Yeah. But then he goes into, doing all of the motor tests, and, asking me to say certain words, asking me to lift my hand, asking me to, put pressure. Yeah. Follow with my eyes, do all the tests. We go through all the tests. And after we get done, he's like, he says it again. He says, I've never seen this before. I've never seen anyone recover from a stroke this quickly. Yeah. And I've also, thank you. And I've also never seen anybody, all of their faculties. Everything completely restored immediately after.
Yeah. And that was the same tune from the different doctors, from the different nurses. And let's talk about, I guess, some of that, even because we were there for like a week.
No, I think it was only like 3 days.
3 days. But we were there
like 2.5, 3 days.
And you can imagine, if you've ever been in a hospital, had to stay in a hospital, you're getting changeover from the different nurses, day shift, night shift, doctors, day shift, night shift, many checks.
We were there 2 days. I think we got off Friday.
Where they're coming in to check his vitals, check all the things, make sure that he's recovering, checking his decisions. And so, of course, in those moments, you're, getting to know the person that's checking on you. You're talking to them. They're hearing your story. And like, I feel like with every person who stepped foot in that room, it was like God was just showing himself off.
Yep. And one of the things I started saying around that time was, God didn't keep me to keep quiet. Yeah. And like, literally every person that walked in that room, I took it as an opportunity to share. Now, some of them had the notes and they're looking through the notes. And when they get in there, they're just like, hey, I looked at your notes and oh my God. Yeah. But like, I'm sharing it with everybody. I get an opportunity. And almost every single nurse and or doctor that came in said, hey, I've never seen anybody recover like this. I've never seen anybody bounce back. Like I've said this many times before, but one or two of them said it's as if nothing happened. Yes. It is. Bless you. Thank you. Whew. Okay. Go ahead. Here comes another one. I knew it. All right. Wait for the third one.
No, that's it.
All right.
I think.
All right. I know my wife.
3.
I know my wife.
He sneezes coming threes.
Now you good.
Yes.
They all.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But a few of them said it again. They said, man, it's as if nothing happened. And I think they were all amazed because every single person that walked through, I'm bubbly, I'm upbeat, and I'm just like, hey, how are you?
We're rejoicing. We were like,
like they're asking about me, but I don't know if you remember, but a few of them were asking about their families. Hey, how many kids you got? Hey, where are you from? Hey, what are your interests? Do you really enjoy being a doctor? Like all the things. One lady specifically, a whole story about her son and his salvation story and him being away at college and him leading their family, in Christ and all the things.
And some of the nurses were even like, oh, we know who did that. And just talking about the Lord.
Some of them didn't want to or can't talk about it sometimes on the job, those type of things.
Once we open up and share, it's just like, oh yeah, we know who did it. So that kind of happened throughout our time there. But also what was happening is they were still trying to figure out what was the cause of the stroke. And so with the test that they had to run, I think I remember sitting and they had to do a machine, like they had to check something with your heart. And that's where they did like some type of test. It's like a balloon test where they shoot liquid in it. And if the liquid comes out, then that indicates that there is a hole in the heart. Yeah. Which is what we ended up finding out.
Yeah. So one of the it was a cardiologist that came in, and he said, hey, I just want to sit with you for a moment just to talk through like how did this happen? And he said, I'm sure you're probably wondering the same thing. Like, how did we get here? Where did this come from?
Yeah.
And he said, so this is not 100%.
Yeah.
He said, we cannot guarantee this, but we very strongly believe that as a result of your Achilles injury, you had a blood clot in your leg. But the blood clot moved, kind of near my ankle, but it kind of moved up your leg. And we believe as a result of the blood clot traveled up through, to your heart where it should have been stopped or pushed out somewhere else. But because there was a hole there, it went through the hole and immediately straight up to your brain and to the arteries that lead to your brain. So that's what we believe caused the stroke.
Yeah.
And so he said, so we'll have some conversations around what it would look like either to get that closure, or potentially what life would look like if you were not to get it done at all, which is other conversations I had with my cardiologist in the weeks after that.
Yes.
But that was essentially, the conversation.
Yeah.
And so, from there, we had friends, we had family come to the hospital just to check in. Almost every person that came, even though I felt like I looked like hot trash. I felt like, I didn't feel like hot trash, like not in my body, but I was just like, bro, like I haven't had a shower. Like I ain't been able to do nothing with my hair.
How did you feel with
shave? No, nothing.
With really having to depend on people?
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that part at all.
Is that something that you felt like you learned throughout this whole process?
No, absolutely. I'll say this. I think the pace of my life, I don't think was sustainable. I feel like I needed to slow down, which was one of the things that I think I even mentioned to you when I first got hurt before I even went to the ortho place, where I said, hey, I feel like this may be like maybe God is just trying to slow me down, right? Maybe my pace. So I knew immediately that was going to be one of the things, like, hey, I'm going to have to slow down. But then also to learn to lean into my support in my community was something I did not know that I would need until I absolutely needed it. So, if we kind of fast forward, getting released from the hospital.
While we were in the hospital, the village showed up. Watching our children, watching the dog. Like, it was like we didn't even have to be concerned with home. It was, they came, got them, packed their bags, did all the things, took the dog. And so that was not even a concern. So I want to put a point there, like,
absolutely,
community is so vital and so important.
No, absolutely.
And it is crazy because this time of in this season of our lives, God has really knitted us with, just some solid people in our community and even our family, and just being surrounded with support, like real support.
Yeah, man. And you can say, oh, well, the reason y'all got community, the reason y'all got support because y'all pastors and the people from your church show up. I mean, that's one way to look at it. But I think it's also because I think we have been intentional. Yes, about cultivating, about even if it's as simple as just reaching out to people. Hey, man, how are you? Hey, let's catch up for coffee. Hey, let's get up this weekend. Like we're always intentional about that. And so it's no surprise to me when things happen to us, you got people that are like, hey, you've been pouring into me. You've been doing for me, like, hey, this is my opportunity to get back to you, to pour back into you. Yeah. And so, like, we didn't know that we needed it as much. Did not. But they showed, and I don't want to go down the list of names, but I mean, it's so, I mean, our siblings, obviously, like we can start there. Our siblings showed up solid. Our friends showed up solid. Even our church family.
Our parents.
Oh, absolutely. That's without question. Our parents showed up, solid. And so, we're very grateful for that, having that community, and that was very helpful.
Yeah.
So as we, got discharged, went back home. I think if we can kind of just, fast forward a little bit, I had several conversations with my cardiologist. Mind you, after I got out of the hospital, I'm speaking with my neurologist, my physician, working on getting a physical therapist, my cardiologist, and like it felt overwhelming because I'm getting calls from them every other day.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, this is so-and-so, Dr. So-and-so calling from such and such. Hey, you know, just call and check in. And like at one point I was just like, who? And I was just like, what?
Which doctor is
yeah,
this?
which like yeah, and like it's
because it was several things happening. It was Achilles, it was the stroke, it was the heart.
Right. It was all the things.
And it was just a regular physician.
Yes, all at the same time. Yeah. And so I started having conversations with my cardiologist. He said, hey, you know, let's talk through what this potential surgery would look like. And he says, what? Let me go back, trace back. So the see, now you about to mess me up.
What's that?
Ortho.
Oh,
the podiatrist.
The
podiatrist.
Oh yeah, he called.
The podiatrist. He said, "Hey, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go through with the surgery.
Yeah, on the
because
Achilles.
of your stroke, and this is a high risk situation, and so we're just going to allow it to heal on its own, and then you'll start physical therapy at some point."
Yeah.
Fast forward probably like 4 or 5 weeks or so. I go back to see my physician first. And my physician, he says, hey, this was a complete rupture, correct? And I said, yeah. And he said, hey, it looks like it is already reattached. And I said, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It reattached. Again, I want to get clarity. I'm like, do you mean like, you know, a couple little strands has begun to like, what exactly do you mean by that? He said, no, I'm feeling it. Like I can tell that it has completely reattached all by itself. And I said, listen,
don't play with me.
Don't play. I've already been through enough, bro. Don't, God has done enough or don't play with me. And he said, no, like
which is a starting point of healing.
Yes. Yeah. But I did not have to have a surgery to put it back together, which many people I've talked to have said like it took them months before it reattached by itself, who did not go the surgical route.
Good. Yeah.
So it reattached all by itself. And so like I'm on 10 after that. I'm like, God, like this is a miracle. Like you're doing some crazy things as a result. And so my faith is just on 10 from them too.
Yeah.
And so have conversation with my cardiologist. We both go in and he's like, hey, you don't have to get your heart closure.
Well, hold on. Before that, another favor moment, because Tayshawn again, having a conversation with somebody and said, hey, you need to go put in to go see this cardiologist.
That's good.
Because he was scheduled for one cardiologist, and it's crazy because they both had the same name, but got favored to where this other doctor came highly recommended. Yeah. And so we were able to switch over to this doctor. Like this doctor is familiar with and they call it PFOs, the repair that needed to happen in the heart. And so this particular doctor was very familiar with PFOs. And so we got a word was able to be put in for Ty, and we were able to
very highly recommended, one of the best heart surgeons
in Charlotte,
in the city of Charlotte.
Yeah.
And so I'll take a moment to shout out Tayshawn with this. Let me gas you up real quick
if you're listening.
So just kind of a full circle moment, just even his recommendation for the ortho and the timing of everything for my surgery. Had he not recommended the place to go for ortho, for the podiatrist, had I not gotten in there sooner, had they not scheduled the surgery 2 days out, had the day of they not moved up my date, moved up my time by an hour, I may not have been at the hospital when I had the stroke. I may have been downstairs in my office by myself, not able to communicate, not able to talk, and just having a stroke all by myself for a whole hour and a half before my next, before the appointment. Like
the timing.
God's timing,
the timing of
everything. And even they said that they believed that being at the hospital potentially saved my life because many of the effects of the stroke usually are irreparable because of the length of the stroke. If you're able to catch it very early, obviously you minimize, the effects of it. Yeah. And so, I attribute that to that recommendation. I know that those were what we call favor instructions. Yeah. It was like, these are instructions, like this is not normal. This is not typical instructions. These are instructions that potentially could change or save my life.
Yeah.
So even this recommendation for the cardiologist, I was just like, yeah, it ain't no question. Absolutely. If you can get me in there, let's do it. And that cardiologist was actually able to move up my date as well to get it done sooner.
Yeah.
Also.
Which for me, I was thankful that, you know, he got through the stroke and we were back home. Of course, the dynamic of the home, the rhythms of our home changed because I had to really step up even more to make sure that, you know, Ty was good and that he wasn't doing too much. I had to also become the Uber driver. It definitely changed the dynamic and the rhythms of our home. And this is like summer break kicking off, so the kids are home, and which I'm actually glad, because that was one less thing that I had to do, like get up, pack them up, take them to school, pick them up, because I think also in that moment I was dealing with trauma, right? I was dealing with trauma of all that had happened, and I didn't know that I was actually dealing with trauma until we got home. And I was just kind of on edge a lot, like watching him, looking at him as like a little baby, like looking at him, making sure he breathing as he sleep. I just could not, like, I tried my best to rest and try to calm myself down. But I think for me, like, I had all this peace during the whole stroke situation, but once we got home and you would think that, okay, well, we were good. It's just like, but what if it happens again? Because at this moment, his heart hadn't got repaired yet. Yeah. So, you know, I know they were saying it was from the Achilles and maybe a possible clot there, but in my mind, I'm like, well, the hole in his heart has not been repaired. Yeah. So until we can get over this hump, I'm still kind of like on alert, like watching him, making sure that it's not going to happen again.
That's really good. I mean, it's almost like PTSD. It's like while you're going through it, you're strong because you have to be strong. Or you
it's like some type of adrenaline.
Yeah,
or
you
something.
attribute it to the grace of God as well.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely to grace.
But then it's like once you get through it, to look back on it, it's just
and just breathe for a moment, like, whoa, what just happened? Yeah, and that's what I started to feel. And I'm glad we were able to talk one night. I don't know, we were just up in our room, and I think I just finally the tears that I thought I would have had as he was having a stroke, as he was getting surgery, the tears that I thought I would have had back then, they came out, just us in our room, like about to go to sleep. And I was able to finally release what I had been holding that I did not know, honestly, that I was holding. But and it had to be Holy Spirit to let me know, or to reveal to me, like, this, you're dealing with trauma right now. So that I could better care for myself and even communicate it to Ty what I was feeling all of a sudden. And I probably was getting on his nerves because every 3 to 5 minutes I'm popping up like, you good? You all right? I'm peeking over his shoulder like, you all right?
I'm like,
why you stumbling over your words? You okay?
There was see, but the funny thing is I told her, I was just like, I've always stuttered. And not like a bad stutter, but like stutter. I always stumble over my word. Like that's pretty common. But now
it's like I'm paying extra attention to, like, wait a minute, like, what's happening here? And I don't know if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see my facial expressions, but I was on high alert. But I think somebody asked me, like, are you okay now? And I was like, I'm good, but I think I'll be better once he gets this hole repaired in his heart.
Yeah, because, and that's one of the things that the doctor shared. He said, hey, you don't have to get this repaired.
But you would be on blood thinners for the rest of your life. That's what they said.
He said either way, they're projecting that I could be on blood thinners for the rest of my life, with or without it. But at the same time, he was saying that there's less of a risk that you would have a stroke as a result of a blood clot. If you get it closed repaired up. And so and I think this is another nugget too, man. He did explain. He said, hey, actually 1/4 of the entire world is born with a hole in their heart. He said 25% of the world, right, is born with a hole in their heart, but it never impacts them. It never impairs them at all. So he was like, hey, there's nothing wrong. Like there's not you weren't deformed at all. He said, this is perfectly normal. And what he later explained to me was that this was actually just kind of a freak accident. He said, for everything to line up so perfectly, not just for that blood clot to get in your heart, but then he was just like, something as simple as a cough or an abnormal breath or something like that, for that flap to open and the clot to go through at the same time. He said that's not normal either. Yeah. He said, so everything just kind of played out perfectly for the stroke to happen, I guess, if I could say it that way.
I just think about that scripture about, I don't know if it was David, or David say, you form my inward parts.
Yeah.
Just,
so like so it doesn't feel like a defect, but instead like, okay, God, you allowed this for a reason. And not that we'll always understand.
Yeah.
But God, you allowed this stroke for whatever. I mean, we can do all the science behind it.
Yeah.
But you allowed it.
Yeah.
But why? And not even that I have all the answers now, but the more and more I retrace my steps and look back on, I'm just like, God, I see how you have created a platform for me to minister to people who have gone through the same thing.
Yes.
For me to get phone calls to people like, hey, can you just pray with my mom over the phone while she's in the hospital? For total strangers that hit me up on social media, hey, can you just send a video, to my friend and to my family that's dealing with this now, to give them hope? Like, for me, it is like, God, you knew who you could trust with this stroke. You hear what I'm saying?
You knew who you could trust.
You knew who you could trust with this stroke. And it's not to say that people who don't deal well is just like, oh, well, so God couldn't trust them. No, that's not what I'm saying. Is that God will not allow more than you can bear. He won't allow more than you can handle. So if he has allowed it, to me, that means that, hey, you can bear this. You can get through this.
Able to get through it.
Yeah, that this is bigger than just where you are right now. That this like there's a platform, I believe, that God creates even from our pain, from the things that we go through. I think about the boy that was born blind in the Bible, and they said, who sinned? Who did it? You know what I mean? They're asking all the questions. And those are still questions that we ask. We might not say who sinned, but we ask, man, what did they do to deserve that?
Yeah.
And at the same time, Jesus said, nobody. Nobody did anything. This happened so that God would be glorified. And that, can I be honest?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So you mean you're gonna allow things to happen just so that you like on the surface, or for people who are upset with God or grieving or angry with God, it feels like, hey, God, you did this.
Yeah.
As opposed to maybe this wasn't supposed to end in death.
Yeah.
Maybe this, like, God was supposed to get glory out of it. But then if you look on the other side of it, what if in death it brings glory to God?
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's a hard truth. What if your healing doesn't come on this side? What if it comes on the other side? But as a result of your death, somebody comes to the saving knowledge of Christ Jesus. Listen,
that's real.
I know it's tough.
That's real.
But this is where I've been for a long time. And you don't even like me to talk like that sometimes.
No, I'm there.
But those are things for me, like even with the struggles, like, God, if you would have taken my life, if my life would have been a catapult to bring either awareness or for people to say, man, you know what? This is just a moment. Hey, let's just pause. Let's look at Ty's life. Like, man, this man dedicated and committed his life to Christ. And even in death, his life is still speaking. If that death means that it's bringing hundreds of thousands of people to Christ.
Yeah.
So I know we didn't plan on going there, but that's hard. That's hard truth.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just like, God, you knew who you could trust with this stroke, and you knew that I would tell it. You knew that I would share of your grace and of your healing power, and I will continue to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what you've been doing. I know you've shared moments of when you're in a store or a doctor's office.
There's been so many moments, and like, especially when I had on the boot. The people, hey, bro, what happened?
Yeah, because you had to wear the boot for a while.
I still had to wear the boot for probably about a month.
The stroke.
A month and a half.
Yeah.
And even just to be precautious. But so many people asking, and every time I say, man, funny you ask. My neighbor across the street, he saw me in the boot. He started asking. I shared with him my whole story. He said the same thing. He said, bro, you're a miracle. And I met him the day he saw me in the boot. That's my first time meeting him. Yeah. And he's like, bruh. And then literally, about a month later, he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
And then he said to me, bruh, like, I see what God did. Like, God brought us together. Like, bruh, you my twin. Like, God knew that I would need a mentor. God knew I would need somebody to coach me through this process. And I'm seeing you walk through it. And then I get hurt, and now I'm walking through the same. Like, I see how God is slowing me down in life. I see what God is showing me. I see the lessons.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, it's like, man, if we could just slow down in whatever it is that we're in, and just see, and maybe even just ask God, like, God, what are you trying to show me in this?
Yeah.
What are you trying to get to me and through this? Right? I know we only got a few more minutes.
Man. That's good.
But there's, I know that there's a lot to.
It's a whole lot more that
I didn't even get a chance to get to everything.
Yeah. I guess we left off from with you having them trying to schedule surgery for the PFO. So we ended up going back in.
Yes.
You did get the surgery. This was back in August.
I'm sorry. I'm glad you brought that up because I went on a tangent.
No. It was good.
Excited.
It was a good tangent.
Yes.
But yeah, so Ty ended up he did get it closed.
Surgery.
Had the surgery. Had to stay at the hospital for a couple days.
Yeah, it was probably
2 days.
About 2 days.
Everything went well with that. There weren't any issues. Of course, even them hearing the story about, all that had happened prior to, it still was giving God glory in it as we were there.
Still gave God glory. And even literally the week I got out of heart surgery, the very next day, I was able to speak to the teachers at the school that we worship in.
Yeah.
We did breakfast for them in the school.
That's right.
We did breakfast for them in school, and I wasn't going to volunteer, but the principal said, "Hey, do you mind coming up and just sharing some words?" And she didn't even know the whole story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All they knew is that I tore my Achilles. That's all they knew. So it gave me an opportunity. I said, "Man, you know what? God didn't keep me to keep quiet."
Yeah.
So I shared with them my story, and everybody in the room was just like, "Oh my God." And a couple people was like, "Hey man, preach, come on." You know what I mean? But like, it was a platform. The day after that, I had another opportunity that we fed one of the high schools. We did breakfast at high school. Again, right. I didn't ask. A room full of about 200, facilitators, 150 or so, 150. And one of the directors said, "Hey, do you mind just coming up and just sharing just a couple minutes? Can't say anything about, Jesus or, sway people in faith, but, just give them an encouraging word." And I said, you know what? I'm not going to be disobedient.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm going to tell my story.
Yeah.
And so I got up and I said,
where it land.
Yeah. And I said, hey, y'all probably wondering why I'm limping up here and I'm walking real slow. Hey, I'm glad you asked and I went into my story and everybody in the room is just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. But it doesn't stop just for those platforms. Anywhere I go when it comes up in conversation, a lady just a couple weeks ago, I overheard her telling somebody, "Y'all know I had a stroke a while back, so I can't walk as fast." I said, "You too?"
Yeah.
And I had a chance to share, not all of it because we're in line, but I had a chance to share some of my story. Like I'm looking for every opportunity to share and to encourage people. Like, hey, God can still do it. Hey, there's still hope. God is still doing miracles. Like, look what He did in my life.
So can you talk about that? Because I think at one point you kind of dealt with a survivor's guilt. Or something with that.
I did. And I think that's interesting too because there's been anybody who's follows me on social media. Many of those videos have been getting a lot of traction. But there's also people in the comments that say things like, "So what are you trying to say? People that God doesn't heal, that they did something wrong, or people who don't survive, or people who never recover, like God's not thinking about them." All those things. And I try not to be insensitive to that. But one of the things that I have shared is that, hey, it's not that I don't think about that, but I actually do more than I probably should. Because one of the feelings that I felt several weeks after was exactly that, survivor's remorse, where I felt like, God, why did I survive it?
Not only survive it, but why don't I even have?
Why do I have no effects, no symptoms, no nothing? Why? Why me and not a bunch of the kids that are in Children's Hospital? Why me and not some of my or friends of family that have experienced stroke and still learning how to walk, still learning how to speak? Why me and many of these other families who have been walking through therapy for years? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like why me? And I don't have all the answers. That's not something I have. God didn't appear and speak to me and say, "This is why." But at the same time, like, it made me feel like the very thing I should be rejoicing and super excited about, I was stressed about. Because I'm just like, I didn't deserve it. Yeah. I don't deserve to be here. And there's many other people who have gone through far much more. Many more people who are much more deserving. And it's not because I'm a pastor. It's not because I'm so committed to the Lord. It's not because, God saw that all you've done for Him. It's not
even because you're a believer.
It's not because I'm a believer. Yeah. Right. It rains on the just and unjust. Yeah. And so for me, it was just like, God, what have I done to deserve this? Or what am I supposed to do as a result of this? Because I feel like I probably should have died and it would have been okay with a whole lot of people. Because they would have just been like, oh yeah, he had a stroke. God passed away. It makes sense. And so I dealt with that. But I think part of that, at least my takeaway, part of that was that God, and I think I might have mentioned this to you, when I had the heart surgery, I felt like it made me super sensitive. After that heart surgery, I felt like I was like emotional, super emotional, just about everything. But like part of that is I feel like God has given me an empathy or a heart towards those people or a certain type of people. Or actually, I've always had a heart for the broken, for the lost, for the underprivileged, for people in the shadows, for the forgotten. I've always had a heart for those people, but even more so now. That when people get my comments, I'm not arguing with people. Instead, I'm just like, bruh, what's going on? I'm sorry you feel that way, man. One person got my comments and they said something like, oh, that's not true. That's not how that medicine works. Well, actually, your brain is just doing what it's supposed to do. That's how your brain is supposed to function. Anyway, God didn't heal you, right? And most people would jump back in the comments and be like, no, I don't care. Or they would delete it or whatever. I was patient. I said, man, I'm sorry you feel that way. This is my story. This is how it happened for me, though I know it doesn't happen that way for everybody. But I'm praying for people like you or other people who maybe their process is much different. And as a result, you know what that person said? That I don't even know if I told you about this. And maybe you didn't see it because there's so many comments I couldn't even keep up. They replied and they said something like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I had a brain injury or I had a brain surgery and I never recovered. So and it was like
possibly mad at God.
Man. Yeah. Like I could have hit you back with a jab and just went about my way. I could have deleted it and never known. Point. And so I responded back and I said, hey, I'm praying for you. Like I hope that you recover well. I hope there's a speedy process. It's like those are the moments for me where it's just like, God, you picked the right person.
You were able to speak blessings over them.
You picked the right person to walk through this.
What they needed. It's like you could have been selfish and just took a jab back at them, but it would have hindered you from speaking blessings. You could have spoke curses instead of blessings.
Again, like, for all of y'all who follow me on social media, like I could not keep up with the comments. So like, especially one of my more recent videos was literally thousands of comments. And there are people in there that are saying like, why do you still believe in this fairy tale God? Like God doesn't exist. God didn't heal you. I'm getting all those things, but still responding in a way where I'm just like, bro, I see past what you're saying. Who hurt you? Well, like where and what happened that made you feel like God is not real? You know? And so it's not, this is not me going back and forth. This is not debate, but instead I'm responding like, hey, bruh, I'm sorry you feel that way. Like God has proven himself in my life. And my prayer for you is not necessarily like in a sarcastic way. I pray that your eyes be open. I pray that one day, you know what I mean? But instead, like, man, I pray that you see like how God is moving in your life. I pray that your eyes would be open to see maybe how his grace has kept you up to this point. Right? Something so that it's not an argument. Like again, God let this fall on the right person because I'm here for all of it.
No, I love that. I love the fact that, beyond the stroke and, God getting glory out of the stroke, you didn't just leave it there. Like you're allowing him to minister to your heart, give you a heart of compassion for those who need it to ultimately point to him in it.
That's the ultimate goal.
That's the ultimate goal.
That's the ultimate goal.
Beautiful.
And so, I know there are people on social media like, oh, here you go talking about the stroke again. And I will continue.
Yeah, because it's more than about the stroke.
If there's anything that happens in your life that is potentially a platform that you can use to draw people to Christ, why not? Why not? If I get on social media and I talk about Christ, the people who are going to listen are going to be Christians. They're going to be believers. When you get on social media and you have a gift to sing, you have an ability to play sports, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a creative, all of those things. That platform is not just to grow your following. That platform is that once you draw people in, then ultimately you can say, hey, now I need you to know who my source is. You know what I mean? And that for me is like, if I can get people bought into, man, I've had a stroke too. Tell me how you overcame it. Tell me how you went through the process. But then I can also say, hey, but let me tell the whole story. God did it. In the same way that God healed me, I believe that he is fully able and capable of doing it in your life. And even if he doesn't, this is the same God who gives peace in the middle of the process. This is the same God that gives you rest even when it's not, when you're not recovering as quickly. Like this is the same God, you know what I mean? And so that's my presentation from this platform. Tell it.
Tell it,
Keep
tell
me
it,
to
tell
keep
it,
quiet.
tell it.
I'm gonna tell it
Everywhere I go.
So if we have to end,
yeah.
But if I could bring you up to speed really quick. Just recently, I went to my neurologist and had a checkup, and this is part of the most recent video I shared on one of the most recent videos I shared on social media. And long story short, she explained that the blood clots created what's called a brain infarction, which means rapid brain death, which means there were parts of my brain that were literally dying. And as a result, I asked and I said, hey, are those parts of my brain repaired or are they regenerated? And she said, no, unfortunately, they are not. And essentially, that's what makes this such a big deal is because like you've been completely restored. Everything is, this is what she said, it's as if nothing happened, as if it never happened.
Wow.
Right. And she said, you look perfectly normal. She said, everything is great. Like you don't need any follow up. She said, we don't need to do a 6 month. We don't need to do a 1 year. We don't do anything. And then a couple days later, I got a call for a group study that I signed up for right after I'd had the surgery. They said, hey, we're just following up about the group study we got coming up. And then she goes down a list of like what the medicine will do and side effects and all the things. She's like, hey, this is going to help with your vision. This is going to help with your balance. This is going to help with your speech, your mobility, all the things. And I just asked, I said, hey, well, what if I don't experience any of those things? She said, hey, like you don't have any problems in any of those areas? And I said, no, I don't. And then there was a long pause. And then she said, well, unfortunately, you don't qualify for this study.
The best disqualification ever.
I said, that's incredible. I said, I will take it. Denial. Yes, absolutely. And I thanked her. I said, hey, thank you. I appreciate it. I said, yeah, but we're good. She said, well, I mean, that's great. All right. Well, enjoy. Talk to you soon. But man, like, to me, it just further confirms, like, man, God, you have done an incredible thing in my life that is not normal.
Yeah.
And every opportunity I get, I'm gonna tell whoever, however I can about it. Like, this is the platform, this is the lot that I've been given, and I'm gonna make the most of it. I'm gonna steward it well.
That's good.
So that's where we are with the story. I'm sure there are many other details that we could have combed through, but with the time that we've been allotted. But
thank y'all for taking time to listen.
Oh, absolutely, a whole hour and a half, right?
Yeah.
If y'all have questions, if something pops up, a prayer request, and we're going to take a moment to pray even before we finish, and you can read this as well. But please reach out to us and let us know as we finish. We just thought it'd be fitting to give you what are some signs of stroke, what they call BFAST, and Taryn worked through that. Just in case you see some signs, I think it would have been helpful for Taryn. She could have recognized it immediately to say, hey, he's probably, but I think that this would be helpful for some people.
For sure. So as he said, the acronym is called BFAST. The B is for, like, these are things to take note of. Signs of a stroke. And once you start noticing these signs, that's when you really need to seek medical attention. So it's called BFAST, which is the B is for balance, when you feel like you're sudden dizziness, trouble walking. The E is for eyes, sudden vision problems, which Ty explained how he started to not be able to see in his right eye. Face drooping, which was another sign, I think, when you were at the surgical center. His right side started drooping a little bit. So the F is for face. The A is for arm, weakness, numbness in one arm. And that's when they were asking him to raise his arms, and he couldn't raise the right arm because the stroke was happening on the left side. S is for speech, slurred, strange sounding speech or trouble speaking. And T is for time, because as we shared, like, you're dealing with time. The longer you go, the more effects, the more detrimental that can be as well. Yes, for sure. So T is for time. Be fast. We don't want to just talk about this. We definitely want to talk about the spiritual side, but we also want to talk about the physical of, just knowing in moments like this what to do. And so
because we're very prayerful. We're very spiritual. But if you see signs of these things, pray while you are taking action. Pray while you're calling 911. Pray while you're on the way to the hospital. Don't just, hey, we're going to pray that this thing will go away. Like, you need to take action as soon as possible. And I believe the timing of everything potentially saved my entire life.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jesus. All right.
So, man,
Let's
God
pray.
is amazing. Yeah, I want to pray for all of us as that'll be kind of our close for our show today. All right.
Okay.
Father, thank you for all those who are listening right now to the sound of our voice. For those in many different walks of facets of life, those who have experienced stroke, those who have experienced heart attack, those who have experienced maybe aneurysms, migraines or surgeries, those who have family members that have gone through the same, who are still recovering, maybe even those who have lost family members altogether, Father, dealing with grief, dealing with resentment. Father, I thank you that you're the healer of hearts, Lord, that you would restore any of the bitterness, Father, in our hearts, Father. I pray that you would give peace throughout the process, Father, of those who are learning to walk, who are learning to speak, who are you're giving mobility back to. Father, I pray this hard truth as well, that you would stir up our faith, God, and strengthen our foundation with you, Father, to know that even if you don't, Father, even if you don't completely restore, even if the process goes a little bit slower than what we expected, Father, we still trust you in it.
Yes, Jesus.
Father, maybe it's a hard thing that we're believing you for. God, maybe we're believing you to do something in our lives. Maybe we're expecting you, Father. Maybe we're believing you for a child. Maybe we're believing you to do a hard thing in our lives. Maybe we're believing you to keep our marriage together, God. Whatever it is that we're standing believing you for, Father, I thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
That you'll develop our trust in you again. That even when things don't make sense, God, that you will strengthen our dependency on you, that you'll strengthen our walk with you, Father, to be able to turn to you, to lean in you, to not cut off communication with you, but that this won't push us away from you, God, but let our circumstance draw us even closer.
Yes, Jesus. Yes, Lord.
That maybe we may never fully understand or comprehend your big plan or big picture, Father, but help us to trust you in the process. Father, give us what we call God winks to let us know that you're with us in it. Father, and with the platforms that we have been given, help us to steward them well, to tell the story of your grace and your goodness and your power, even while we walk through it.
Yes, Lord.
Father, so I just thank you for what you have done in our lives and what you desire to do in the lives of all those listening today. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yep.
All right. Thank y'all for listening.
Thank
If
y'all
you
for
stuck
watching.
around this long.
For listening. Yep.
Yeah, and we'll see you all in our next episode.
All right. Love y'all.
Bye.